Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. So you got me talking me stuff, I guess. The struggle to work out, or struggling to work out, depending how you look at it. Get to find out what shame shopping is, and how good it feels to get the jobs done. I've got TV, a movie, and lots of computer games to discuss today, so stay tuned for all of that. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. The biggest one, my favourite of them all, is to share the podcast around. It really does mean a lot to us. It really does help us, as a podcast helps us to grow. Word of mouth is a fantastic thing. So, yes, please do share the podcast around. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. I should probably get started because it's really late. Obviously, that makes little difference to you, dear listener or watcher. Although, if you're a watcher of this podcast, there's not a lot to look at. I gave up on the video a while back because, honestly, for copyright purposes. So, I know what you're thinking. Is it 10:15 at night? Yes, it is. Am I drinking a coffee? Yeah, I am. Is that because I've had about 4 hours sleep? Yeah. It's okay though, because it was a really easy day. Just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. How are you doing? How many hours sleep did you have? It's not a competition. So, that was a massive pause whilst I was trying to get into my phone. And with podcasting nowadays, I find that like the audio clarity, not probably on this one, the audio clarity is such on other podcasts that if nobody's talking, you think something's broken. So I apologise for that. I was trying to get into my phone, and admittedly there was a message in the way, which meant I had to read part of the message, which made me lol to a degree. So anyway, different podcast, different conversation. Won't matter. So, I've brought back an oldie but goldie this week, but for in some ways the wrong reasons. I have got all sorts of stuff. So I'll get this out of the way because this, I don't know if it, when you're like, well, I don't get a massive amount of feedback. So I don't know if this is boring or not. I feel like maybe other people would find it boring, but when I've listened to other podcasts, when people have been like on a bit of a weight loss journey, I get really interested because I like to hear what other people are doing and trying and whatever. So let's get this bit out of the way just in case people are bored. I did not hit my weight loss goal, which is my current weight loss goal, and it was absolutely the weight loss goal for last week. Missed it by 2 pounds in the end, which I'm not going to lie, I felt pretty robbed at that point in time. it was on what was pretty much the worst day of the week. And it was kind of like the thing that started the day off. It was like, okay, here's the start of the day, and it's downhill from here, and this is pretty bad. I was mortified. If you've got a goal and you stick to your guns, you do 7 days, no food, just and then you don't hit your goal, it's like, oh, come on, man. So that was that. And like I say, start of the worst day of the week. Worst day in a long time. So, yeah. As it stands, as of today, Monday, weigh-in day, I'm 0.8 pounds from my current weight loss goal. There's a possibility I will hit that in the morning, and like I keep saying, or I've been saying all evening, there is also a possibility that tomorrow starts off really badly. I've gone through all the possible scenarios, which include forgetting to weigh myself, and a load of other stuff. So, that's that. Every week I have to put, so it's either referred to as tags or it's like hashtags, or basically you attach hashtags to podcasts to get them seen. So you'll put like, football, and then somebody does a search for football, then there's a possibility your podcast may appear in their algorithm. I had an email recently telling me about how if you search for a very specific thing on a particular platform, that our podcast comes up number 19. And I was like, that is absolute bullshit. I then tested the theory, and it was bullshit. So I had all these tags, and every now and then I look at one of the tags and I go, I haven't talked about that in ages. I haven't talked about that in so long that I almost feel like I should remove the tag. But I don't, because I was like, well, previously I talked about it a lot, and there's maybe a point in time I'll talk about it in the future. Well, today, ladies and gents, is that day. Over the course of the last week, I have really struggled to work out. Like, really struggled to be able to work out. To achieve the workouts that I do. To, for want of a better way to put it, to be able to lift the weight. Now, with the with fasting and stuff, there was this one goal, and the goal was to try and maintain as much muscle mass as possible, whilst accepting that it wasn't possible. So there was this real sort of like cross section of, I need to be able to do this, I want to be able to do this, but I know I can't do this, so I have to minimize. And honestly, when I get to like the day 6 area of fasting, there's this real thing where I'm like, I don't think I have any muscle at this point. And honestly, when I eat, it's like all of that food, all those calories, all of the whatever, just flood to the muscles. Like I almost want to do like a comparison between like the arm size before eating and the arm size after. And I'm going to say I would probably guess like a couple of centimetre difference. That's not even joke, and it's not even a I don't know what you'd call it. I'm just saying I feel like there's that physical difference. And there might not be, but man, I have been struggling. Holy smokes. I worked out about an hour ago. I can't lift anything. It's like, okay, I got to do 6 reps of this. Okay, let's do 6 reps. Okay, 6 reps, doable. Next, 10 reps. Okay, do 10 reps. Struggle with the last 2 reps, knowing that the next 2 sets are 12 reps and I ain't getting them. I have to take a break halfway through. I have to lock out and then just wait. And then I've had a couple of sketchy lifts recently where I've been like, I might drop this. And I have easier days in the week. And I say easier loosely because it's like one less exercise, or one of the exercises I do is what I would consider an easier exercise, which allows you to go harder because you think it's easier and, that sort of stuff. But then I have days that are just monsters. Wednesday is a monster workout. It varies. Monday is chest, Tuesday is legs, Wednesday is just nothing but arms, and it is every possible combination of arms for the best part of it's certainly half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time I've got. Thursday is like a shoulder, back, leg combination. I always sort of wondered exactly what Thursday is, but I just do it anyway. And then Friday's like back and biceps, and then Saturday's like chest and biceps. So it's one of those things that I know the day. For example, I'll give you an example. Tomorrow is leg day. Leg day involves a variety of different leg exercises, but it's not just that. So I start the day with a long run. I will walk the dog as normal, no problem, that sort of stuff. But I get a 5K under my belt, do a leg workout, and run another 2 miles. Put all of that together with 2 dog walks, a couple of trips to school, as I'm doing at the moment. And next thing, you're at 20,000 steps. You're I'm at 10,000 steps by 10 o'clock in the morning. That sort of thing. So I know that my actual workout is not the hardest part of the day. It's also quite doable. I can just get it done. I just, do it, job done. But to say that for today, I worked out an hour ago and I fucking struggled through it. There wasn't a single thing that I found easy, or even, I would go as far as say, even doable. I struggled through it. Then you've got the fact that I seem to be pulling and twinging, and I don't know what is going on. I feel like I've got some sort of pulled muscle, but it's across parts of my abdomen. There was a point in time where I was doing bench press, and what I presume is some sort of it might even be the odd ab somewhere in under all that skin was throbbing and pulsing, and I'm what the hell is this shit? I didn't have to deal with all of this when I was fatter than I am now. So what's changed? I've struggled. I'm struggling to be able to sit in certain seats. I'm just is this the end result of all of this? I can't lift shit, and I would expect to see it in other areas though. I can still go and run. I got on the treadmill. I ran. It barely registered. And, there is an argument to say that I'm not working hard enough. But when you're I just have to get it done to tick that box, we're not there to blow it out. We're there to get it done, get the work done. So, yeah, I absolutely hate to say it, but there is an element of, I don't know what it is. I don't know And the other thing is I'm not noticing it going the other way when I've eaten. So I'm a bit like, Obviously, if I hit my weight goal this week, then it will be time to look at moving to phase 3. Phase 3 is very different to phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 is trying to find a way to achieve the same goal with food. So that's going to be interesting in itself. Not going to lie, I don't know if I feel ready for it. But I will say this. I ate on, I think it was like Wednesday or something. And by the time I'd got done with like Wednesday and I'd like cooked in the evening, I made a meal and stuff, I was like, I don't think I need to eat tomorrow. I think I can just move on without it. As it was, I didn't eat all day and then I had something to eat in the evening. So it was a bit of a 6 one half dozen the other. But there was a part of me that was like, I don't need this. I don't want to do this bit of it. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I wrote something down the other day on my list. I've ummed and ahed and I've gone from one end to the other on whether to talk about it. And I haven't been able to decide, and I can't decide. And largely, I'm in that camp of I can't do it without using some really, really bad swear words. And because of that, now, we always do it's an explicit podcast, so you're supposed to be able to use the swearsies, but these aren't swearsies. These are what some would consider the worst words. And I don't know if I can spend the next 10 minutes just firing off the C word. And I'm not even kidding. It would just be C word after C word after C word. So I'm going to take the executive decision to move on for now, and we'll see. I want to talk about the shame shopping. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What is shame shopping? Shame shopping is a hobby, pastime. I don't know what the hell to call it other than shame shopping. So let's talk about shame shopping. Shame shopping is a phrase that's going to get real annoying if I keep saying it. So I have made this switch, made this change where I'm trying to do a thing. Okay, we're all on board. I still shop like I'm not. I'll give you an example. On a Wednesday, me and my son, we go and generally we end up in a shop of some description. It's either going to be a supermarket or it's going to be a shop that sells a variety of different things or a combination of the two. That is our Wednesday. I largely don't like it, but it's always that, I need to go and get, it's like we've just had Mother's Day, so it's like I need to go and buy a Mother's Day card. Might as well go to a supermarket. That sort of thing. A series of different parks have been shut because of the last gasp of the bad weather. So it's not like I can say, let's go to the park, because we can't. So shame shopping is where you go into a shop and you go, the fatter version of me, the larger version of me, would usually buy 10 giant bags of crisps. Now, I can't eat 10 giant bags of crisps. But that's not going to stop me buying them. So I go, these sound nice. I bet that tastes good. Put them in a basket. Oh, that sounds good. Put them in a basket. Oh, look at those. They're amazing. Put them in a basket. And then, I really fancy. I'd really like a biscuit. A biscuit would be nice. Oh, what that bar of chocolate sounds exciting. So you fill a basket with all of the shame shopping goes in the basket. You then take the shame shopping to the till and pay good hard-earned money that you then realise you can't really afford. You pay your money, you take your bags, you put them in the car, and you come home with your shopping, and you get back and you go, cool. I've got absolutely nowhere to put these items, and I'm almost definitely never going to eat them. But the fat man inside was like, there, my mission is complete. So this has been going on for ages. Like weeks and weeks and weeks. It was like some sort of offsetting system where I wasn't eating, but I was still buying stuff like I was. So then I'd have to try and find somewhere to put it. So I'd like put it in a cupboard and put it in a, everyone's got like a snack drawer or a snack cupboard or a place that you put whatever. So that's what I do. I put them in a cupboard. Then the cupboard, the cupboard's full. Because you don't consume any of it. Cupboard's full. Okay. I'll put them in the drawer. Okay, well now the drawer's full. Okay, I'll put them in a basket. Put the basket on top of the cupboards. Okay, well now the basket's full. Okay, I've got a great idea. What if I build a new room in my house just to store? So, all of a sudden, I then went, this is a ridiculous concept. This is a terrible, terrible idea. I'm not going to do any of this anymore. And from now on, I'm not allowed to buy anything like this unless what we have has been eaten. So I started like giving the kids like biscuits and stuff. Like I think it was like Valentine's Day. I got this box of biscuits. So I was like, cool, I've got a box of biscuits. Not going to eat them. So now they're just sat there. So then I was like, well, now they're just sitting going to waste. So I started giving them to the kids. And I'm like, here you go. Do you want a biscuit? Have one of these and then have one of these. So that was that. Then I was like, okay, crisps. Well, I have a child. And it pains me to say this, but I have a child who doesn't like crisps. Let that one sink in. But I have another child who really likes crisps. So I'm a bit like, okay, well, I'll just keep giving him like, here you go, here's a bottle of crisps, you eat these. So everything started going down. Didn't have to buy anything, and it was great. And then I had to go and buy an ingredient. Couldn't find it anywhere. Everywhere that I've bought it from before, it's like this, it's basically Korean red chili paste. It's called gochujang. And I needed it for a recipe that I was making. So I went to a variety of different supermarkets. Nowhere had it. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to go. Chinese supermarket is going to have it. I know that for a fact. I'll just have to go there. I bumped into somebody in a supermarket. I was like, I can't find what I'm looking for. And they were like, oh, have you tried this place? And I'm like, what? Like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's like this, like, part supermarket, part warehouse, part whatever. They've got absolutely everything you could possibly want. If you ever get a chance, go there. But the thing was, they were saying this to me, and we were literally round the corner. I'm like, I can nip there now. I went in and went, oh no, this is a terrible place to be. This place has got all sorts of stuff. Super cool, super funky. Because of the fact that I basically live on liquid at the moment, they had like all these funky drinks. I was like, oh, I really fancy it. But they didn't have what I wanted, so I left. So Mother's Day's just been and gone. and I've been talking about this place, and I was like, oh, they have this and that and the other. Leon's like, well, why don't you drop me at a shop? Because obviously she can't go anywhere at the moment. She can't do much. But she was like, you can drop me places and I can walk. I'm like, okay. She's like, then why don't you take one of the kids, both of the kids, some of the kids, and go to that place that you've been talking about? I was like, oh, that's a genius idea. It was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible idea. Terrible idea. We ended up in the crisp section. I bought a bag of crisps that I estimated was maybe the size of my son. Now, I've tested this theory, and in actual fact, I would have needed 2 bags. But that means I bought a bag of crisps that's half the size of a human child. That's right. It was the point where I said to my daughter, we might need another basket. And these aren't the little, the metal sling it over your arm kind of basket. These are the wheel them round the store because you've got so much stuff basket. And I'm saying we might need another one. And we did. And we filled it. So we're leaving the shop. I'm like, right, we need to get this stuff to the car to go and collect Leanne. And as it was, I was going to get my son because we went with a divide and conquer approach. And I'm like, let's go and put the shame shopping in the car. I spent so much money. So much. I could have fed a family of 4 for a week on the amount of money I spent. And got back. And I'm just taking stuff out of bags. I'm like, look at this bag of crisps. This bag of crisps is cool. I was like, look at this. And I just kept saying, like, I've got crisps for my son. I was like, look at these. These are cool. You'll like these. These are all right. And I was like, look at this. And I got you a biscuit. And I was saying to Leanne, I'm like, I got you a biscuit. And I was like, oh, I got the kids some, like, these toys. And this one's super cool. And this one's a car. And so, you know, toys. That's... And I was like, I got these things. I have absolutely no idea what they are. But they looked cool. So I bought them. And I happily refer to all of this as my shame shopping, and it's just a running joke in our house now. I'll always say to Leanne, don't look at my shame shopping when I'm like bringing bags into the house and stuff. So I'd laid all the stuff out on the side, and I bought some like fresh food. And I was like, oh, you'll have to try that and see what it's like. Let me know. Like some sweet, some savoury, all of this. And there was a point where because it's shame shopping, every time I went in the kitchen, it's there on the side. So I'm like, I got to a point where I was like, I can't look at it anymore because ultimately I don't need it. My son's not like, oh, I really want that bag of crisps. That bag of crisps that's nearly as big as me. He hasn't mentioned it at all. And like, I got these like little biscuity things that have got sort of jam in, which everybody in the house is enjoying, but nobody has come to me and gone, oh, Daddy, can I have one of those jam biscuits? It's that sort of thing. So I can't look at this food anymore. It's shame shopping and it needs to go away. So I opened the cupboard and I was like, oh, the cupboard's nearly empty from previous times. So I started shoveling bags of crisps in the cupboard. Like crisps. Like big bags of Cheetos. Well, we don't basically have Cheetos in supermarkets in this country, other than the fact that you do, and they're so expensive. These are like giant bags of Cheetos. They were like £2. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to justify it. So I'm like shoving all these bags of crisps in the cupboard. Next thing, cupboard's full. Now, in my defence, they were giant bags. Unfortunately, this left the sack, as I am referring to it, the sack of crisps, and the cupboard is full. And the emergency stool that has a secret hidey compartment in it, that was already full. I'm like, fucking Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I going to do with this? So I'm like getting like baskets down. I'm like, this basket's full of coffee. You know, is this side like this one's full of cereal, this one's full of coffee, this one's full of baking paraphernalia. It's like, it's not like shame shopping, it's like household items. But you can quite quickly turn it into shame shopping by sticking a massive bag of crisps there. So in the end, I had to abandon the situation. I got to the point where I got like annoyed with the situation. And I was just like, fine, they just live there now. So now, every time I go in the kitchen, this giant, like I say, sack of crisps is just there on the side, looking at me like, happy now? And every time I see it, I go, no, I'm not. I'm annoyed. And then I go in, and then there's like, oh, there's that like, I don't know, it's like a paper bag of like cookies that I keep giving to the kids, and I'm like, here you go, have a chocolate chip cookie. And they like them and stuff, and it's fine. But I'm like, it's been a bit of an eye-opener. But here's the best. Two things. One, I have told absolutely everybody a version of this story. Like, I've got, like, people are now like, oh, next time you go, should we go to... Because that place sounds great. And I'm like, So that's like one thing. The other thing, and this slayed me. So I'm into all these drinks. So when we were there, I was like, this drink sounds amazing. Look at it. It looks great. Oh, I'm really excited to try this. So I put all these drinks in my basket. And I said to my daughter, I was like, do you want a drink? And she got a Capri Sun. But it was a tropical one. I've never seen tropical. To me, they were always orange. And she was really taken with it. It was like juice in a bag. At one point, we nearly bought 2.1 litres of mango juice. It looked like something you would pour into your car, like the container it came in. But we didn't. But she got real taken with that, like the Capri Sun, the plastic bag thing of juice. And it was tropical. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get it. And then there's me like putting like all these different drinks in a basket thing. And I'm really excited. I'm like, this one looks cool. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look, this one's got like seeds in, and this one's got bits in as well. Then I just kept putting all these drinks. I was like, I'm so excited because I was like, it's my thing at the moment. My thing is like funky drinks. I'm really into funky drinks. Took them all home, put them in the fridge, and filled the fridge with my staples at the moment are energy drinks, non-alcoholic beer, Guinness, non-alcoholic Guinness, and then I've got like random bottles of pop. I hate saying pop, but it seems to be the thing that I've decided on. So I put all these like funky drinks in, and as I'm putting them all in, I'm like, oh, that one's great. Look at that. That's got like the balls in is it Bubba? And I went, does that technically constitute as eating? Because you'd have to eat the balls in it. So I'll maybe save that for a few days until I'm eating again. So I was like, oh, I've got like this chocolatey drink. Oh, that one's also got the balls in. So, oh well, I'll save that one. Oh, I've got these ones that have got like the chia seeds in. Cool. But they've got seeds in. So see that, I mean, that would be eating technically. So. Okay, I'll maybe put that one on. Oh, I've got this mango drink, and it's got like bits of... Oh, for fuck's sake. I bought like like 6 funky drinks and have decided that I can't drink any of them because they've got things in them. So I'm now like, I'm not saying it was the reason I went to the place, but it was up there on the list. The drink I'd gone back to get, they didn't have. And there's me like, oh, look at all these drinks. These are great. Oh, I can't wait to try these. This one's lychee flavour. All of this. Next thing, I'm like, I can't drink any of this. I should have. I'd have been better off buying the Guinness malt. Whatever the fuck that was. In a can. I'm like, yeah, let's get that. So that, ladies and gents, is shame shopping. Something that I have tried desperately to get out of because I don't need any of it. I think I was saying the other day, I was like, at this point in time, like we're going into like it's April tomorrow, and I'm literally just like, shit. I can count the number of days I've eaten this year. And I'm like, can I do it on 2 hands? Yeah. I felt a sense of achievement because of the way things are at the moment. Lan's had her operation, so she's not mobile. So there are days where everything falls to me. And as I'm sure you can imagine, one of the best days to have a day like that is a Monday, because Monday is the worst. And to have it be just full on is even better. So like I was saying, very little sleep. I was on the treadmill, like gone midnight last night. And then I was up because I needed to get up to walk the dog so that I could then take all the children to where all the places they need to be to then go to work for the day. So I get to work and I'm just like, I had like an hour-long meeting today, which I can't say I was looking forward to because I was like, it has zero relevance to me and it's an hour long. The fuck. But there was a point this morning where I was like, you know, so it's kind of, it's a good feeling where you're like, oh, I was on the treadmill at midnight, gone midnight last night to get that job done. And to be able to get the dog walked before the children needed to be where they needed to be, I needed to be out of bed at a particular time. And if I got out of bed any later than that, then the whole morning was just scuppered. And there was no safety net because Leanne was off to the hospital at 7:45. And that was before I needed to leave the house to do anything other than walk the dog. So I'm like, there's no safety net on this one, so I've got to get out of bed and get the dog walked, get back, get my son where he needs to be, get home, get my daughter where she needs to be, get home again, get in the car, drive to the office, get to the office, get in, get sorted, get the day going. So I'm sat and I'm looking at like what I'd achieved at that point of the day, and I'm like, it feels good to have achieved these things. In some ways that might sound strange, and in other ways it might not. I would have been absolutely cursing myself to high heavens if I'd have not achieved any of these things. But there was a point where I said to my daughter, I was like, we're actually early in the process. We've actually got 10 minutes to kind of do whatever, really. There was very much this sort of sense of, we don't need to leave yet. Leaving now doesn't serve any purpose. So I was like, I might try and get like a job done or something, or like whatever. And I was like saying to her, like, make sure, double check that you've got everything you need and you've done all the things you need to do so that we can go out of the door and all this. And I know there's an element that it sounds ridiculous to be like, I did good and it feels good. But I've not always been like that. Like, I'd have been at work today going, for fuck's sake, I proper fucked up this morning. Nobody was where they needed to be at any point in time. I'm pretty sure I forgot to give one of the children something to take wherever they needed to go and all of that. And I didn't get the dog walked. That would be me of days gone by. And it borders on literally days gone by. Like in the last X number of years. And yeah, there was the point this afternoon where I was like, I'm sleepy Joe. Knowing that I had a full evening, like, at this point in time it's 25 past 10. I have about 15 things to talk about on this list at this point in time. And I'm like, well, at least I have to code it and upload it before I go to bed. Sorry though, boys and girls. Get to do it all over again tomorrow. And next week as well. It's that time of year where you get the opportunity to, like I think I said last week, you get the opportunity to go and speak to parents evening. But if your children have got activities, you also get to go and watch their activities. So I have done 2 of 3 dance lesson viewings today. I watched my youngest daughter do her dance, one of her dance lessons this evening. And yeah, I was saying to her in the car on the way home, I was like, it's always nice to be able to see it because you only see it like once every 6 months. And if you think about like that lesson progression, you're paying money for these lessons. So they're supposed to be learning stuff and progressing forward. And like, especially with like dancing, there's always either an exam to prepare for or a show to prepare for. So they're always moving forward in a particular direction. Forward would be that direction. But ever since she was like little, I haven't been able to see that. Because I used to see it every week. I used to take her to dancing every week. Now, once every 6 months. So I was saying to her, like, in the car on the way, I was like, it's really nice to be able to get to see your dancing because I just don't. Like, I never do pick up or drop off because of the time of day it is. So I don't get the opportunity to, like, peer through the window and see what she's up to. I then watched my middle daughter do her dance lesson. And obviously there's like there's an age difference, an age gap. So there's I was going to say difficulty level. It's not ability level difference. A lot more French, I guess. That's the thing, unfortunately. Although they used a French phrase in the lesson this evening, and I was like, there are 4 words there. 3 of them I don't know what they mean. But I know what the 4th one means, and I'm not sure how that connects to dancing. And I was like, someone might need to explain that one to me because that's interesting. So yeah, it made me chuckle. I was like, what's happening? that is kind of... That was kind of the week in question. Part of me feels like I'm letting myself down. But let's just move on, shall we? We don't need to talk about certain things. I finished Series 1 of The Blacklist. It was fine. They kind of partially put some story elements to bed. They killed the character. Spoilers, by the way. Oops. They killed the character and I was a bit like, wow. That is surprising to me. I can't say that they were like a super embedded character, but at the same time, they were like I'd say like a B character. Just killed them outright. That's them done. Started on the second series last night. A little bit in that camp of where do we go from here and how is there 10 series of this? For better or worse. I'm like, Like, let's face it, it's Monster of the Week TV. So each week it's like, oh, we've got this bad guy to deal with for this reason that's not the reason, it's a different reason, and it's that sort of stuff. So it's a bit like, okay, let's see where this goes. Yeah. I am prepared to continue watching it, and it was me that suggested it. I think Leanne might already be on the out. She's already suggested like 2 or 3 different things recently. She's like, oh, what about this? We could give this a try, sort of thing. And I'm like, well, technically we're watching a TV series. I feel like she might be like, I don't need to watch 10 series of this. I'm probably good at 1. But for me, the thing that intrigues me is I'm like, how did this get 10 series? What is it? What is the reason that this has got 10 series? So just that in itself, is intriguing me. So, I'm watching series 2 of Tulsa King. I'm a few episodes in. The issue I've got is when I get on the treadmill, I do half an hour. Episodes of Tulsa King are 45 minutes. So I've got that. I never finish an episode in one sitting. I haven't written down what episode I've watched, because that's the other thing when I'm watching them on the treadmill. I think I've watched it in... Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. Well, I should have just looked it up. Right. I think it's episode 5. It might be that I've watched episode 5 and... The hell is that? I thought that said Kong, but I think it says Icons. Apparently it's something Batman related, so that sounds fun. Okay, well that doesn't help me get into the thing, does it? Purchases. Tulsa King, Series 2. Yeah, Episode 5. Okay. But I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to talk about the fact that it's doing this really weird thing. There's 10 episodes. I know this because I tried to work out how much it was going to cost me per episode. And it was £1.50. And I was like, I'll happily give you £1.50. So you've got, in the second series, you've got 3 bad guys. You've got one of the bad guys from series 1. And then 2 new bad guys. You've got Frank Grillo, who's supposed to be like a big bad guy. You've got what's his name? It's McDonald. I can tell you something he was in. He was in the first Captain America movie as the big guy with the bowler hat, who was a member of Captain America's squad. rather than having to look it up because I've already looked something up. So he is the other bad guy. And then you've got a bad guy who was a bad guy from Series 1. He's been in like all sorts of stuff. He was recently in Series 2 of Reacher. Anyway, not one, not two, 3 bad guys. Yeah? And so far, those 3 bad guys have done fucking nothing. You've got Frank Grillo at this point in time chopping wood. You've got the bad guy from Series 1 who just seems to be tossing it off and being like, oh, we're going to do this with this guy and we're going to do that with that guy and fuck that guy. Does nothing. And then you've got like what I guess is like the main bad guy, but he's a bad guy from like a business perspective. He seems to be doing the most, but what he's doing is not a huge amount. So you've got 3 bad guys who aren't really doing anything. Then you've got Sylvester Stallone's character who's like, right, we're gonna do business stuff. So I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna buy that and I'm gonna buy the other, and then I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna get these things. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that and do the other. And then I'm gonna get a house and then I'm gonna get a car and then I'm gonna. And it's like, okay, so you're a gangster, mobster kind of person. You've got your crew, and you just seem to be out there doing business, and like the legality of things doesn't seem to be a factor anymore. I said to somebody today, like I was sorry, like they were like, unless it's got Arnie in or Sylvester Stallone, I'm not interested. I was like, funny you should say that. I'm watching a TV series with Sylvester Stallone. He was like, oh, is it any good? I was like, I really enjoyed the first series, but I feel the second series is just spinning its wheels. Like, I don't know what we're trying to achieve at this point, because at the moment it feels like nothing. Because I am about to cross the halfway point in this series, and honestly, gun to my head, don't think I could tell you really what's happened up to this point. My answer would be not a right lot. So there you go. And this isn't me saying I dislike it. This isn't me saying that I hate it. This isn't me saying, oh, it's rubbish. Because it isn't. It's still an enjoyable watch. It's still an enjoyable time. I enjoy it. The characters are great. They've got great actors playing great characters. It's all good, but nothing's happening. So there's a part of me that's like, am I wasting my time or not? And I presume that in the next 5 episodes, it's going to proper ramp up. But my fear is that's not true. Me and my eldest daughter watched The Martian. It's been on my eldest daughter's watch list for a while. We've talked about it a lot. I said at some point we'll watch it. When I said to her, we'll watch it this evening, to be fair, she told me we were going to watch it. I didn't check how long it was. And it's the best part, 2.5 hours. Which in hindsight, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot to get done in that film. And often when I say like me and my daughter watched a film, that's not strictly true. What's strictly true is for the first hour, she sat watching it on her own because I've got other children to deal with. But, to be fair, other than the very start of the film, we watched most of it together. That is a banger of a movie. I was talking to somebody at work today and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just watch The Martian at the weekend. They were like, oh, I've never seen it. I was like, you should. It's great. And I'm not going to review the film because I probably will have done at some point. You can probably go back into the archives and go, hey, look, on this day at this time, you reviewed The Martian. Sure. It's quite a big thing for me. It means quite a lot to me because it's a book I read. And, you know, that's a novelty in itself. So that was quite a big thing for me. And I think I did that thing where I saw the movie, I read the book, I watched the movie again. Just to see sort of how it all married up. And, yeah, it's an absolute banger. Also, go and check out that cast list. The cast list in that film is insane. And it's like, because it just keeps going and going and going. Like, there's a point where, like, Donald Glover turns up in it 2/3 of the way through the film. It's like that. It's like, oh, and by the way, Donald Glover's here. Right, let's talk computer games. And would you believe me if I told you that I have 5 VR games to discuss? No. Well, watch this. Crossfire Sierra, a game I bought in the Steam sale. It had reasonably good reviews. It had a series of things that I discussed last week that were the downside, so I don't really need to go through them again. What I can say is this. I've finished that game. Which is unusual for me these days. I stuck to it. I dedicated my time to it. I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of Time Crisis, which I think had been mentioned in previous reviews. It was like Time Crisis, but with really good guns. I finished it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to race back to it anytime soon, mostly because I've got a shit ton of other games to play. But for the money I paid for it in a sale to play through and finish it and enjoy it, I don't know if you can necessarily ask for much more than that these days. So there you go. So, I heard a rumour a little while ago that there was a free VR mod for the game Crysis. And I went, well, that sounds like a shit ton of fun. And I looked into it and it was like, there is, but you need to own Crysis. And that's not a thing you can do anymore. And I was like, what? So it turns out you have to own the original version of Crysis from, what is it, like 2007 or something? And I'm like, well, I don't own it. So that's kind of that. And that was the end of my Crysis VR journey. Since then, I've watched a series of videos where people have been playing Crysis in VR, and I'm like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. Recently, something came up where I was like, oh, you can buy Crysis Remastered, the first one, for £1. But you have to own the original. I was like, this shit again. I was like, I don't own the original. That was that. I was in. But the post went on to say, if you don't own the original, don't worry, you can buy it as part of a bundle. I'm like, go on. So what this bundle is like a bundle where you don't pay for the original Crysis. You pay for a different part of the bundle. But as part of the bundle, you get the original version of Crysis. It's kind of like for free. I'm like, huh. Interesting. So, off I take myself to Steam, and I purchased this bundle, which gives me access to original Crysis. Now it's a different conversation. Off I take myself to the internet and download the free Crysis VR mod and install it. Now, in any situation like this, I am terrified of breaking something. But I watched a video that was like, hey, it's really easy to do. Install the mod, save part of the file to your desktop, basically. And that's it. And I was like, bullshit. And they were like, nope, it's true. I promise you, it's true. Also, by the way, Crysis is broken straight out of the box. But that doesn't matter because the VR mod has the fix in it. I was like, you're a liar. You're an absolute liar. I don't believe you. But I'll try it anyway. So I followed the instructions and nothing worked. And I was like, cool. But I remembered that the video said, if you load the VR mod up, everything will work fine because the mod's got the fix in. So I was like, I'm just going to have to roll the dice. Headset on, VR mod loaded, and wouldn't you know it, it worked. I thought there was an issue with the controls, and I was like, do I need to enable the touch, the move control type things for the Quest? It turns out, no. You just had to like get through the first menu, which I did using the mouse. After that, controllers all the way. I was not wrong or disappointed. The Crysis VR mod is silly amounts of fun. There are games I've played recently, the Half-Life 2 VR mod, Crysis, things like that, where you play them and you go, I think these games were designed originally to be played in VR. It's the weirdest thing. This game came out donkeys years ago, but it's the perfect combination for VR. I have so far done the first full mission in Crysis and moved on to the next. But it doesn't end there, people. I said I had 5 VR games to talk about, and dagnabbit, that's what I'm going to do. I bought No Man's Sky a little while ago. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Andy, you hate No Man's Sky. That's not true. I don't like No Man's Sky because it's never been the game I wanted it to be. Apparently, rumour had it that you could make a load of changes to No Man's Sky to make it almost playable. And I was like, that sounds good enough in itself. No Man's Sky, straight out of the box, you can play it in VR. And that was the point where I went, talk to me, Goose. So if you buy No Man's Sky, it is VR enabled. So you can just play it in VR. And I went, no matter how much I dislike this game, because it was never what it was supposed to be, I do want to play it in VR. So the other night I was in between game downloading and installing and games that I could play and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to load up No Man's Sky. And to give it its dues, you are just straight in. Yeah, and it gives you a tutorial. Now, I had already started No Man's Sky on the Steam Deck. So I thought it was really interesting that it gave you a VR tutorial when I loaded it up in VR. And it was super helpful. I was very happy for that. Then I was off on my No Man's Sky VR journey. I think it lasted about 20 minutes. The thing I can't stand about that game is it gives you no help. So when you've got a mission and it's like, you need to make something. Okay, cool. You need to use this machine. Okay, cool. So how do I do that? Well, we told you need to make this item and you need to use this machine. Okay. Oh, well, you need to put this in it. Oh, right. Then what? That is No Man's Sky as a game in a nutshell. So there was a point where I was like, oh, you need to go and uncover some buried technology. I was like, ooh, buried technology, like buried treasure. So off I took myself and I found some buried treasure. And then I went, oh, you didn't say buried treasure, you said buried technology. I've gone to the completely wrong place. It said, don't worry, we've put a marker in the sky for you to follow. So off I went. Took a really, really long time. And I got there and I went, question, if the buried technology is indeed buried, why is the marker still in the sky? And then the game's like, no, it's fine. Right. Change your gun thing to the mining function, and away you go. I was like, cool. Where do I do that? Because I'm on the side of a mountain, and your marker is still in the sky. Yeah, it's just there. Okay, but whenever I move one way or another on the mountain, the distance changes. So where am I supposed to be? Just here. I was like, fuck this shit. You can fuck the fuck off, you stupid fucking game. And that right there is No Man's Sky. It never, ever gives you enough. It never gives you enough help. It never tells you how to do something. It never says, go over here and do a thing. It just leaves you stranded in the middle of the fucking universe. And I know that's the point. I get that that's the point. But give me a fucking clue. Give me a fucking chance. Give me something. You've been out for a bajillion years at this point, and you've done very little to make this game playable. In my opinion, it drives me up the fucking wall. This is the third time I've owned this game. I'm actually in the camp of fuck this shit, start the game from scratch. Try again. That's where I'm at with this one. I watched a video. I watched a series of videos at various different points in time. Some of them are going to be very little interest to anyone else. Others, meh. I generally watch a VR video news thing where it's like, here's the games that came out, here's the games that are coming out, here's some news. So, on last week's video, I guess it was, there was a conversation about a couple of games. One was I'm really glad this has come out on the Quest because it's a great game that no one's talking about. I've really enjoyed this game, so it's on the Quest. And I went, okay. And it was zombies and shooting. And I'm like, you've pretty much sold me on it. And the other one was, this game has finally come out on the Quest. Another situation like that. But it's dirt cheap. So, maybe pick that up. So, I purchased The Living Remains for cheap on this recommendation. And I purchased Hellspit. Is it Spit or is it Split? Now I kind of want to know. I can't find out from here because I didn't buy it on Steam. Idiot. Well, now I don't want to use the wrong name. I'm going to have to go into the app. Where is it? It's a shit app as well. Because you can't... It's another one of those you can't find one. If I go into the library, it'll be like, you haven't played it recently. Hell Split Arena. So what do I think to these games? Well, I played The Living Remains and I was like, this is low budget Arizona Sunshine. Straight off the bat, I'm like, this is low budget Arizona Sunshine. And I got stuck and I had to look it up and I went, actually, no, that's not true. The first time I got stuck, I didn't have to look it up. I stumbled across the solution. I needed an upgrade. I didn't have it. But the game didn't tell me. It just gave me a symbol and I had no fucking clue what it meant. So that was that. And I played it for a bit. And like I say, it's low budget Arizona Sunshine. Then I got stuck. Then I decided to turn it off. The game I was really excited for was Hell Split Arena because I bought it for dirt cheap. Brand new on the Quest. It's been out on the PC for a while. And I've heard nothing but good stuff. I put it on. And after, I'd say like an hour of playing, I was like, so is this it then? Because you just keep sending me to the same place to fight the same enemies in very similar ways. So is this it then? Now, admittedly, I will hold my hands up on this one. There was a point where I was getting to be about ready to turn it off, and it went, oh, you've got through the first area, now you're on to the next area. And I went, oh, okay, well, I'm turning it off now. So, Hell Split Arena, it's not a bad game. It's got great physics, it's got fighting, it's got swords, it's got, I think there's supposed to be some sort of magic in it, but I haven't really got that far. Also, there's some sort of weird thing going on from a calibration perspective on the Quest. It's just had an update, and now when I play any game so far, I'm playing as a giant, which is hilarious. Right up until you need to pick something up off the floor. So, I'm like, okay. I was kind of enjoying The Living Remains. I should go back to it. Because I was kind of enjoying it, I should go back and see what it's got for me. So I'll go back. Typically, this is the point in time where as a game it went, came back, did you? Cool. Now let's get into the real shit. I am not a huge fan of forced darkness in computer games, especially horror games. It adds an element that I don't personally like. I can see why, but I'm not a massive fan of it. The Dead Space remake did it. Doom 3 did it. I get it. I understand it. It's a mechanic that I see the reason for it. I'm just not a fan of it because I'm a massive scaredy cat. No, it's just it's hard to explain, but yeah, whatever. The Living Remains uses it pretty much non-stop. There's very, very little time where you are actually in the light, and it's always going to be a situation where it's like, oh, you've gone into this place, well, the lights have gone off and the zombies are coming, kind of situation. But what I thought was low budget Arizona Sunshine actually revealed itself to be a lot deeper. It's not just on the surface. Below the surface, there are some amazing game mechanics in this game. It does that thing where it's like shooting the zombies is only part of the game. There are some puzzle elements that we've come up with some interesting ways for you to solve. And I'm like, go on. It's like, well, the room's on fire. How are you going to get through the fire? Fire extinguisher? You haven't got a fire extinguisher. Then I don't know. How am I going to do it? Well, the clue is here, this bit where you need to get through, there's a water cooler. Any ideas? I'm like, shoot the water and flood the bit that I need to get through? Is that it? Well, why don't you try it and see? Bang, water everywhere, fire goes out, and away we go. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Are you stuck? Can you get through a gate? No. Do you need to get through the gate? Yes. Or do you? Can you shoot something which then falls on a lever and turns that lever, meaning that you can then progress further in the game? So we've got all these like interesting like mechanics that I've not seen before in VR games. So whereas some of it is super basic, other parts of it are really in depth. And I started playing it, and like the second time I played it, I was like, actually this game is a bit of a hidden gem. Now I will say this, zombie rats turned up in a sewer in the dark, and I went, I'm not sure about that one. Thanks. So yeah, look, we'll see how it goes. I can't promise anything. I've still been playing Rise of the Ronin. Not as much. I've sort of gone back a bit towards the VR, especially with having these multiple things to play. I would quite like to do the VR mod for Ready or Not, because that was a game that I really looked forward to playing and just didn't get on with it as a flat game because it was way too difficult. So there's that, but I am playing Rise of Ronin, just not as much. And apparently I decided that I needed to own for the third time Ghost of Tsushima, but get it on Steam so I can play it on the Steam Deck. So I've been playing a little bit of that. So yeah, that's kind of that really. That's it for the podcast. That's it for the games. I could talk more about a couple of things, but I'm a bit like this one's run long as it is, and I'd just be putting a hat on a hat at this point. So yeah, let's leave it there for now, and I'll catch you next time. So yeah, what do you think's that? Another one done, another one gone. Big thank you for watching. Big thank you for listening. Big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye. And I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of CookieCast.